Dave Sobel here at IT Nation Connect for a bonus episode of the Business of Tech. I'm talking with Jake Varghese of ConnectWise. Now, Jake, you're focused on the business management software, right?
That's correct, Dave.
All right, cool. So let's just, for our listeners, let's do a quick summary, like which products does that include?
It includes 7 products in the portfolio. It's the PSA, the CPQ, IT Boost, BrightGauge, SmileBack, Service Leadership, and our payment solution.
Okay, cool. So let's dive into that. I want to start.
And by the way, there's one more. We introduced Sidekick into the mix.
So we don't want to miss out on the new acquisition.
We don't want to miss out on that. So there's Sidekick, and partners absolutely love it.
It's a cool integrated portfolio of stuff. Now, I kind of want to get a couple of pieces. The first is I'm really intrigued to understand the way you're thinking about the PSA, because it is, in a way, like it's the oldest. If you think about it from the ConnectWise portfolio, it's kind of the original OG product that's been around. Now, that comes with both a positive intonation of like, it's been around, people understand it. But actually, there's a flip side of that too, because it's been around for a little while. And oftentimes with products like that, there's some technical debt. Now, what's interesting is you guys have made a really aggressive push to move to the ASIO platform to bring this all together. Now, that comes with its own challenges. What I actually want to start is like, how are you envisioning success look like on that effort to move to the platform?
To me, success is when our partners start using the new PSA in ASIO in mass, and start deriving the benefits that we have envisioned, right? It's not just the beautiful and delightful new experience that they've built, but all the additional stuff that we're adding onto it, the hyper automation, they're able to connect and finally realize the value of that integrated one single pane of glass within the ASIO platform. So we had RMM come in, Dave, then we had security come in, and now PSA is joining the call.
So it's interesting. I want to unpack this a little bit. Please. And let's not, I don't think time is the important factor. I think success is the important factor. So I want to say, like, one of the things that I noted in here is that we were looking at this, the at one point either 3,200 was put up as a number, 5,000 on the platform. I know it's going to be significantly smaller when we think about this from a PSA perspective. I could also look at ConnectWise's numbers of the anywhere between, say, 25,000 and 45,000, depending on the numbers. What I'm actually looking is let's define en masse. Like, how do we know you're reaching a critical mass with that? What does that mass mean? And
I would say, let's talk about it from a normal distribution perspective.
Okay, great.
There's the early adopters. And there's the mainstream. And then there's the late stage adopters, right? What we've done with the approach that we've taken, Dave, is that you can continue to use your current PSA. No one's taking that away from you. In addition to that, we have this brand new thing that we built that connects to your database and continues to function, and you get all these additional capabilities that become available that are native to ASIO. Right? To me, it's like right at the middle of that distribution, and the normal distribution curve, right? That midpoint, to me, is when I feel like, yes, we're getting folks to move over, right? But the thing that I want to convey to our partners is I'm not taking anything away from them. It's really, really important. Why? Because, Dave, you've been in this space for a very long time. The PSA is the heart of their business. They use it to manage their business, and I do not want to impact any sort of business continuity. And I want them to be so comfortable before they move. Sorry for
Oh, no, absolutely. And in fact, the reason I wanted to, what I was about to say is I actually think that message is incredibly clear. And I'm glad you reinforced it to the audience. And one of the reasons I wanted to explore this is because in order to get to that comfort level, there's often a need for understanding. What you said in there's an interesting power to the ability to connect to the same database. Now, that's actually really powerful because it opens both the new and the familiar at the same time. I also know that there have to be some challenges in balancing that, because that is, if I'm riffing a little bit, right? Like it's a database structure that may have existed for a very long time, or there may be legacy piece of that is to contend. Talk to me about the challenges that you think about in addressing the piece that's hidden from the partner.
Right. So the challenges almost have to do with, honestly, the database piece was just fine. When some of the scaling challenges that I heard, when you get to the root cause of it, it had to do with the user experience. Imagine if I tried to manipulate 10 records versus trying to manipulate 10,000 records. it's not just an order of magnitude, it's several order of magnitude problem. So the user experience had to evolve to address that need. So we took care of that.
Okay.
The second thing was, when you go across disparate products here, it's not just the PSA CPQ, right? The user management, the authentication and the authorization, not having access to that uniform data layer, that constituted problems.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine what that is.
Very much
right?
so.
The cognitive dissonance that happened. So all of that we're addressing as well. At the same time, as we're making this move, and by the way, this is with the existing database, we're constantly figuring out how to re-architect the data structures in there. And that evolution has continued to happen over the 20 years that the PSA has been in existence. I mean, you said, yes, it's been around for 20 years. I look at it also the other way, which is, it has been around for 20 years.
All right. Yeah.
That means it's lasting, and it is a product that actually works. And a lot of our partners use it day in and day out. And then, there's several 100,000 users that are using it concurrently. You wouldn't have that if the product did not work.
100%.
So to me, I have to shepherd that into this new application.
What's interesting is, because you're exactly right, like nothing is binary, right? So we know that it's not a bad or a good, it is, and we have to analyze it. I'm sure you've addressed this, give me a kind of example of the kind of decision that, for example, may have made a ton of sense from, let's go back in time 18 years, right? An early product decision that's one that you re-examined. Is there like a classic example that you could help make a crystal for the partners?
I'll give you an example right now. So one of the things that our partners love a lot is, with the PSA, it is incredibly flexible and malleable in the way that people love it. But some of the UX patterns are a little bit older. So for example, if you want to open something, you'll see a bunch of tabs open up over the top, just like a browser.
Right.
And the problem is, you have to switch context when you go, and you can't see everything on a tab. So what we've taken is, we've taken the main UX, taken all the things that go along with that UX based on the usage information that we have, and we made that as quick access.
Okay.
It's right there. I always think, Dave, in terms of how many minutes, how many seconds, how many milliseconds can I shave off with each and every action that one of our users is taking? Because what happens is, in the world that we live in, that one action multiplied by the number of people and the number of times that you do it in a day, it adds up to be a lot.
Okay.
So when I talk about the business management suite, even internally and externally, I constantly talk about saving time and saving money for MSPs.
Right. Okay.
So when we make product decisions, and you've been a product person, when we make product decisions, that's what's constantly resident in my mind. Just how do I make that happen? In addition to this, and I keep using this term a lot, sometimes people make fun of me, is that delightful experience.
Yeah.
When we build something, you just want to play with it, right? That's the kind of delightful experience.
Gotcha. So I'm going to ask kind of a bit of a strategy perspective in the way that so you've got a really interesting portfolio of things, right? And you can, some of them, it's clear, is obviously from acquisition, right? And so give me a little bit of the way that you're thinking about how that should be balanced as you move toward a platform, right? That's the vision, to move towards a platform. But at the same time, you talk about it as products. Like, some feel like they might make more sense to move into a single product. They become part of the platform. Other, it sounds like they might be separate. Talk to me about the way you're thinking about addressing that.
So from a strategy perspective, everything within the business management portfolio,
right?
I'll start with that and I'll go to the platform piece, has to do with helping an MSP run their business.
Right.
All the way from acquiring a customer, getting them onboarded, right, and then you're getting paid. And then there's a bunch of stuff that we do in between to make it operationally efficient.
Yeah.
That's simplistically, that's what we do.
Okay.
And then what I'm trying to figure out is, let's get this big behemoth of a product, which I'll now start referring to as a solution or a service in the ASIO platform. Let's get that moved over, because once again, the PSA is the heart, and everything else we're going to start bringing in 2025.
Okay, so that makes sense. But I guess what I really want to focus on is this. So let's we're in 2025 now, or say let's even go further out. We're in 2028, right? What I want to actually get a little bit of an understanding of is this. So let's wave the magic wand a little bit, right? everything is on the new platform. But what I'm interested to understand is the way you think about it, because I could, if I was oversimplifying, I could say, well, everything in the business management suite is actually one product. It's business management, and you could go to market with a single, this is everything.
And you would be 100% right.
Or
at the end of the day.
Right. Or you could also go to market with a portfolio of things. Tell me how you approach that decision making, like in terms of how it's divided up.
I mean, when I think about decisions like that, I think about what's going to be best for our partners.
Okay.
How do they conduct business?
Right.
And the second thing that I think about is, how do I offer value to those partners, to those MSPs, to those TSPs, right? And you're right. The beautiful thing about bringing everything as a service into the platform is I can evolve it based upon the evolving needs of how our partners do business.
Okay.
You're right. This entire thing is, the lead to cash
Well, you're
story.
right. It could be one thing, and I'm trying to understand how we think of how we're thinking about it going.
Yeah, potentially. And then you can turn stuff on. You get a base stuff that you get, and then you can turn stuff on by entitlements.
Okay.
The powerful thing with our platform strategy is that we continue to be an open ecosystem, and others can continue to plug in. Right? So that, I know I might not be giving you the perfect answer that you're looking for, is binary one way or the other. My point is, because of our approach, we get a chance to evolve based upon the needs of our partners and based upon the needs of the industry and the business.
Makes sense. The other area I really wanted to spend a little bit of time understanding is kind of the way directionally you think broadly AI is going to go with that. Like, you guys were an interesting first mover on Sidekick.
That's correct.
It's a chatbot. I don't think any of us think that chatbot is the final form of this interaction. I think we can kind of all, as technologists, probably say we're figuring out directionally where this is going to go. How do you kind of see the vision of that playing out as a direction?
To us, we think of AI and automation as being pervasive, right? When we introduced Sidekick last year, it was a digital assistant.
Yeah.
Right? Someone smart that you can talk to 24/7, 365, doesn't judge you, and gives you good answers, right? But that was just the first step. And soon we're building, that's why we built Sidekick and hyper-automation into the heart of ASIO, and it's making its way into all of the products as well. Right now, you heard about, agentic way of thinking, where agents are coming over and going to do work. Our point is that evolution is going to continue, right? Okay. And the best thing about that is it's all aligned with our mantra of operational efficiency. If you're doing things today that is unnecessarily taking your time, how about delegating that to an agent so that, the classic shift left, that's going to happen in this space as well, so that you can work on higher quality problems and offer extraordinary service to your customers. So our point is, and I've said this last year, is we view hyper-automation, including AI, as enabling you to do more with the talent that you have.
Okay.
One of the problems that we face as an industry is hard to hire great talent, and it's also equally hard to retain great talent. I think AI and hyper-automation is a force multiplier, right? So soon you will continue to see AI becoming even more pervasive, and automation becoming even more pervasive within our platform, wherein there's so much capability built with the platform that as newer services and solutions continue to get built, they get grandfathered into with the capabilities in the platform.
Yeah, the reason I've been asking the question that I am is to get a little bit of an insight is I think we all understand that it's moving forward and it will evolve. I think what we're all struggling with is a little bit of understanding where it's headed. And I'm not saying I necessarily think that I have to have that we all have like the same bit, but I think the uniqueness of the visions is what we're all trying to understand of where that headed is to.
I'll give you one example,
please.
Right. So one of the things that we're doing is today, the user has to learn the software.
Right.
Would you agree?
Sure.
Yeah. Right. I mean, so we have all the certifications that we need to go to. We spend countless hours, and now we're finally at a stage where the software has to understand the user.
Okay.
So now, one of the interfaces is, as opposed to, let's say, using SQL to query something, I will query something using English or any other language that I'm proficient in, and the software figures out the context, figures out what it is that I'm asking, figures out where should I go from a data store, assembles the results, and supplies a set of visualization. Let's say Brightgauge is an example.
Yeah.
Supplies the visualization in this particular format, right? That is a fundamental shift in the way that we interact with, let's say, software-based solutions.
Sure.
That is something we think a lot about and starting to bring into ourselves.
Now, in order to get to this place, and you're already on the journey, so I think you've got some experience here. I'd like to get a little bit of insight into the way that you think about kind of data governance. And what I'm going to set the stage a little bit is like, we all know that if we just throw data at most large language, either large language models, particularly through something like a Sidekick, where unless we've told it parameters, it might give out company secrets to everyone, or that it won't necessarily know context, or it'll come back with the wrong information. In order to make it effective, you have to actually do a pretty good job with data governance. You've got to do some proper tagging. You've got to put some context around it, do analysis. Now, it doesn't have to be like a perfect, old school, everything in a cell data, but you have to have done some work. Can you give me some insights into the lessons that you learned about addressing data governance for Sidekick?
One of the good things, and one example I'll give you is right from the start, we published our principles, right? This is how we're going to govern data. And Jason McGee in IT Nation Secure 2023 stood up and says that this is how we're going to govern ourselves,
right?
Govern your data. This is the partner's data. We're just stewards of that data. And we have strict guardrails where we do not cross-pollinate across partners with any of the learning this is your data. And we've established those guardrails, and we continue to emphasize that whenever we build any solutions that use the AI. We are hyper conservative when it comes to data governance and data management.
And this is a real lesson here for solution providers, because one of the things that I think there's a big opportunity for them is to go out and do data governance for their own customers. So that's really incredibly powerful to have the principles put out and published that way. What does it mean internally, like with your development teams or your data team? Like, how does that happen internally?
The good thing is that, that sets the stage, and you have to abide by that.
Okay.
Right? And there's ongoing meetings where we come in and ensure that on an ongoing basis, are we abiding by that, right? So there's, first, Dave, it's all about clarity.
Yeah.
As leaders, we have to establish the character, saying, thou shalt operate in this manner. So every team, before they embarks on doing something, they understand the principles. And then each of the leaders has to ensure that those are consistently enforced.
Okay.
Because we don't want leakages, right? That's
right.
It's very, very important that we operate in a high integrity.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's that process of managing it ongoing through the teams that is enforcing it. It makes a ton of sense. So the other thing I sort of, in a way, like I'm going to play a little bit of a game here is like, so what in a way is the thing you want me asking about in say 2 years? Like what's the thing that you want me thinking about as I'm probing your success? Like what should I be thinking that far out?
To me, by that time, as you said, right, all the solutions are on ASIO.
Okay.
Like, Jake, what other new capabilities are you unlocking now that you have hyper automation, everything on ASIO? Like, what's the next evolution? What's the next paradigm that is coming in and that's enabled by ASIO? That's the conversation that I'm looking forward to.
Gotcha.
Right? Because at this time, folks are still wondering, wait a second, you have this little piece of software, you've been talking about ASIO for a little bit, when is it coming? And now, with IT Nation Connect 2024, they actually could see it in action, and I'm starting to provision partners for PSA and ASIO. I hope you were at the product keynote where I watched the email request, and I said, do that. That is what I'm trying to get to, because, Dave, I'm a huge fan of AI, and it's not a fad, it's not going away, but I think the type of solutions that it's going to unlock and the type of creativity that is coming, I think it's unprecedented in our lifetime. So I'm so excited. So that's what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
In 2 years is like all the learning that we've had and what else are we doing to help the community?
Well, we'll simply put it on the calendar, because I actually will tell you, I'm exactly with you on the excitement level. What I'm finding that we need to do is we need to make that tangible for the solution provider conversation. And I that's one of the reasons why I'm asking the questions that I am is I think those of us that are thinking and planning on this may not necessarily be doing a great job of translating the vision out to the listeners. And so working on that continually is going to be something I'm looking forward to.
We should talk more about this. The beautiful thing about getting a little bit older, Dave, is that you have the benefit of experience And, if you think about it, the benefit of wisdom, right? So look at all that has happened in our lifetime. The web, the cloud, mobile, right? Packet software to SaaS-based software, unprecedented disruptions, and something's coming along that's more than any of these, and it just blows my mind. But I keep going back to the web, and I keep talking about Amazon. No one could have predicted that Amazon would have emerged, and that is the type of disruption that is going to happen as a result of AI. Anyway, so I'm kind of bubbling with excitement because of all the things that we could do, because we made the investment years ago to go down this platform. Right?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna end sort of with a counter, because I am so glad you went to that parallel, because I think about it in the same terms. But I will also observe that in each of those transformations, there was a period of confusion. So those conversions, while people figured out the practical applications, there was a period of confusion. We can go all the way back to the internet. Well, we had a bunch of internet companies that didn't make it because there was confusion. When we did mobile, there was a bunch of apps that didn't make it because there was confusion. Cloud, there was a bunch of stuff and there was confusion. And you're 100% right. But what we're trying to all navigate is we're on the cusp of another one with AI. I think many of us can see what's coming, but we also know there's a period of confusion. And jointly, our job is to help navigate the confusion.
Here's the one constant in all of that.
Yes?
ConnectWise. ConnectWise was around during the entire time. Sorry to say that, but, I personally feel that it is our job to help navigate the community successfully during this period of ambiguities to the other side. The good thing is ConnectWise has been around for some of those previous highly disruptive events, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. This company's been through some of those, and I so wish that we can continue this conversation, because I've really enjoyed it, because, I like the way you think, and I really would be open to input from you as well, so that as we jointly help shepherd this community together, we do right.
Well, Jake, I appreciate it very much. It's on video, so everyone can prove that it happened. And Jake, I look forward to further conversations with you on this. Thanks for joining me.
Are you ready to get your brand in front of the tech leaders shaping the future of managed services? Here at the Business of Tech, we offer flexible sponsorship opportunities to meet your needs, whether it's live show sponsorship, podcast advertising, event promotion, or custom webinars. From affordable exposure options to exclusive sponsorships, our offerings are designed to fit businesses and vendors of all sizes looking to make an impact. Prices start at just $500 per month, making our packages a fraction of typical event sponsorship costs. Be a part of the conversation that matters to IT service providers worldwide. Join us at MSP Radio and amplify your message where it counts. Visit mspradio.com/engage today to explore all the ways we can help you grow. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines, hosted at businessof.tech. If you like the content, please make sure to hit that like button and follow or subscribe. It's free and easy, and the best way to support the show and help us grow. You can also check out our Patreon, where you can join the Business of Tech community at patreon.com/MSP Radio, or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. Finally, if you're interested in advertising on the show, visit mspradio.com/engage. Once again, thanks for listening to me, and I will talk to you again on our next episode of the Business of Tech.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.